Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to teach you how to get your photo to look like this to this with just using Lightroom Classic or Lightroom Mobile. One of those two. Let's get right into it. So right now we are looking at the original image. I went to a boulevard near Brea and I saw this sign and this movie theater with a Christmas tree right next to it. And I thought it looked pretty dope, so I captured it. I got my settings to, I shot it at 1/60th of a second at f2.8 ISO 800. So yeah, it was pretty dark. And I used a 24-70 at 70 millimeters. And yeah, and this is the result out of my camera. To get it to the image that I just showed you, we're gonna start out with the basic settings. And the basic settings is very important because this could be one of your starting point. And we're gonna get into basic settings because I think basic settings are the most important part for your image. I think if you start off by going to the basic panel and get the photo how you like in the beginning, then you'll love the results at the end after you mess with the other panels like the color grading, color mixer, tone curve, or the calibration. So let's open up the basic panel and let's start with the highlights because I noticed that the highlights are blown out. So let's just reduce that a little bit, maybe down to here, and then after that, let's boost a little bit of our shadows, maybe from here. Yep, right about there. I think the exposures is okay. I think we could just increase it just a little bit so that we can get a little bit of the glow in the neon lights. And then we're gonna reduce the whites a little bit, and we're gonna reduce the darks a little bit. And I'm holding down the shift button. The alt button. I'm on PC right now. I don't know about Mac or iOS laptops or Apple stuff. Apple laptops, because I don't have an Apple. I have a window, and I'm holding down Alt to look at my my blown out clips, the blown out darks, and you could do the same thing with the whites. Whites, if you increase it a lot, you'll see the blown out whites. If you decrease it, you won't see any of the blown outs. Same thing with the shadows, and same thing with their highlights. Right. So we're gonna reduce a little bit of the blacks right there. I think that looks fine. And then after that, you can improve or increase the vibrance and saturation. But we're not gonna get into that right now. So we're gonna go down to our tone curve, and this is the shadow area or the dark tones. Sorry, this is your blacks and this is your shadow, midterm, highlights, and whites. So we're going to go to our shadow, and we're going to decrease a little bit of that shadow to make it look poppy, to make the blacks look darker, or shadows look darker. And we're going to increase the midtone a little bit so that we can get that glowy effect or the contrasty look. And then for the highlights and the whites, I just reduce it just a little bit. Not a lot, just a little bit. Maybe two up here. And then for the blacks, increase it just a little bit. And then we're going to go here in our red channel, and we're going to reduce the shadow or give a little bit more of a cyan look. And look, just by decreasing the shadow, just the shadow only of our channel, of our red channel, we are getting rid of the reds and we're adding a lot of the cyan. And look how much difference it's given. Look how much the difference given right now. So this is our before and this is our after. It really looks a huge difference already. It really looks a big difference. Big difference. And I don't really go to the green channel. I mean, you could, but I just reduce the shadows a little bit. And then our blue channel, you can give it a nice warmth or you can get a nice blue look. I'm thinking a little bit of the warmth side, just like that. And then if you have your white borderlines or the white background, you can see a lot of you can see how much if you want to add your whites or how much if you want to add your darks. Same thing with the midtones. Midtones, the middle gray, medium gray, and then your blacks. See, as we can see a little bit of the fade because our dark background we can see a little bit of like the fade look compared to the dark background. And this is like another way to like adjust your photos or adjust your whites, midtones, and then blacks. If you want more contrast, you can go contrast. If you want to go less contrast, you can go less contrast by just changing the background color. We're going to keep it at medium gray. So on to our next. Instead of going to the color mixer, we're going to go to our calibration because I don't go in color mixer. I don't go in color mixer and adjust the color before I go into calibration and calibrate the colors. I like to calibrate my colors first before I go into color mixer because in color mixer you can get like almost a unique look that you can get from calibration. But if you go on calibration first, it'll be much easier with less of like clicking the buttons, adjusting different what do you call it, like panels or for example hue, saturation of the greens, hue, saturation of blue, hue, saturation of red, and then the shadows. So I just like to go on calibration first before I start going into color mixer so that I can get that ideal look to prepare, you know what I'm saying? So I need to prepare my calibration, my look, my colors manipulation before I go into color mixer. For this, I don't mess with the red primary. I just mess with a little bit of the green primary and the blue primary. So if we reduce the hues or we move it towards the left, we're gonna get that. See the sign right here? We're gonna get that nice bluish unique look. But I don't want to make it too much of a difference. I think this is just a little bit of a overkill. And so we're just going to go up a little bit. Maybe sort of like right here. And then we can also reduce our saturation to make it look like this unique neon signs that you see out in the shop, out in boulevards. Very unique. But I'm not going to go all the way down. We're going to add a little bit of the color. I think we're going to add like right about here. And then afterwards, I mess with the green primary. And so you can just mess with the greens. Or sorry, not the greens. I just mess with the reds and blues according to this image. Because if I go to the far right, you see more of that red. It's like adding saturation to red, but I really don't like that look. If you go all the way to the left, it's giving that orange warmth, and I also don't want to have that there. So I'm gonna go like in between, like maybe like around 11. We can also reduce it, and we can also increase it. For this, I think I'm just gonna increase it by 4. All right, after we mess with the calibration, now we're gonna move on to color mixer. And before we move on to color mixer, we're going to look at the before and after. So this is the before and this is the after. How do I feel? I feel like in the before, I can see a lot of the natural colors. This is just killing it with like the saturation. I think on the red here, I think it's shredded with like saturated. Yeah, so the color is bleeding right here and right here because of the amount of the saturation that's been added. So we're gonna reduce that on the saturation here. Boop. And there you go. It's almost gone. Before, after. Okay, so it's gone right there. Boom. We increase it a little bit. And then in our in our yellow, I see a lot of the yellow here happening. I don't want the yellow to be here. to show that much. So we're gonna reduce the yellows a little bit. Make it right about there. And I think this is just the orange of like, yeah, that's crazy. Blues, I think the blues are fine. Yeah, I think the blues are fine. I'm just gonna leave blues how it is. Purple, I don't see much on purple, so I'm gonna decrease it a little bit. And then the magenta. Here's what we can. Oh, there it is. There's the bleeding from the magenta. So if we decrease the magenta, oops. If we decrease the magenta, you can see the bleeding here. If we have it at normal, you can see it there. And then if we increase it, you see the aftermath. So we're just gonna leave magenta on its own like that. And I think we're done. And then after that, we go to color grading. And then we're just gonna add some colors. We're gonna add a little bit of the orange here, because I think orange looks nice, or whatever the color is right here. And then we're gonna add a little bit of the highlights. I think we're gonna add, I think a nice, like, I was gonna say purple, but it kind of blends in with the orange. I was thinking maybe cyan, bluish. I'm thinking here. Boom. And then in our midtones, we're just gonna go. I think we're gonna leave midtones like that. I think we're just gonna add a little tiny bit saturation, bro, like 2 right about here. Yeah, what about there? After that, we're gonna go to details. I like to increase a little bit of the amount, the sharpening amount, and reduce the radius by holding down the Alt and clicking and holding onto the radius slider. You can see the details of how much radius or how much details you want, how much sharpness, I should say. We're gonna go there, and then we're gonna go here. I think we're gonna reduce that a little bit. I think right there. And the masking, obviously, we're gonna mask it. I think right there. And then, lastly, yeah, my color corrections are my lens correction are applied. They should be checkmarked already. And lastly, we're gonna just mess with the crop. So I'm thinking like this. Oh no. No, that doesn't look good. Let me see. That doesn't good look either. That doesn't look good. I really don't want this side right here. So we're gonna reduce that. We're gonna go right here. And then I don't want the I guess we can get the car in there too, right? I feel like so far right. I feel like right there. Right about here. Right about there. Right there's fine, right? I think that should be a little bit higher. Right about here. Right there is fine. Oops, I got hiccups now. Or should we go all the way like this? No, it doesn't look that well. I think I'm gonna leave it like that. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it like that. And that's how you get the colors and how the photo turned out. We're just gonna go. There's your before and after.